When you look at the entirety of Keeneland over the course of a year, meaning its racing and our sales, it's over $600 million worth of economic impact. Think about the hotels that aren't filled during a weekend of Keeneland racing that would have been otherwise completely full. The restaurants teeming with people downtown. This is a destination in April, and it'll be a destination again in September and October, and the Breeders' Cup and the November sale. And so you think about that, there's a reason why we're the horse capital of the world. $600+ million is what's in the balance if we don't do the right kind of thing.
A great part of the industry is really small business owners. Everybody sees the Lanes Ends and the Calumets and the Windstars, these big operations. Yet they don't really account for the bulk of the industry. If I could describe it, what I think happens is what I would describe as kind of an economic hypothermia. That is, the extremes sort of are compromised first, while the core stays as viable as it possibly can. But in fact, it's still going to ultimately impact the core.
We are very much part of the farm economy because everything that we do involves a heartbeat. And we know that when you're talking about production agriculture, when you're talking about livestock and breeding, horse husbandry, that takes a lot of people, a lot of hands in order to ensure that your livestock is kept safe and healthy.
These are folks who spend their whole lives trying to raise that great horse, and they bring them to a place like Keeneland and they run for a great stakes program. And if it's a filly and they win a graded stake, then her value turns into incredible amount that she comes sell this fall. So those are the folks who I think are most dramatically affected.
We are an essential enterprise, largely because it's livestock and you just can't walk away from it, you can't put it on hold. So our procedures and practices on the farm are significantly different, but the basic process that we engage in has remained the same. There's a lot of social distancing, if you will. You've seen the signs. Van drivers cannot get out of the van. The staff is required to social distance.
We're very fortunate here in Mount Brilliant because all of the equine employees live on the farm, and we've been helping them out with a little bit extra money so they can get their groceries delivered and really not leave the farm. It's closed us down, protected us a little bit extra. We have rules about maintaining social distancing. Before, we used to have a few farm vehicles and that would, the guys would share to get around the farm. But in the past, month or so, we've kind of salvaged all of our old four-wheelers and mopeds and golf carts that we've had over the years, repaired them, got them running again, and so everyone is now getting around the farm in their own individual vehicle.
We were just opening up our barn area in preparation for the April race meeting. And so we had some folks who had shipped in already. So we kind of shut that down and asked folks to stay where they were because it was better, not necessarily for the horses, but the people, the people that have to take care of the horses. We have about 600 horses on the grounds right now. And every single morning, there's 150 or so people that have to take care of those horses. Again, these are farmers. They're taking care of those horses, ensuring they're healthy, and preparing them on our racetrack so that when we do get ready to go racing again, those horses are ready to enter and can take advantage of the purse monies that will be available for them.
A large segment of our purchasers, if they don't purchase themselves, they are underbidders that drive the market. And while it's valuable to have perhaps online sales, it's a little bit like trying to sell art. You know, art is really in the eye of the beholder, and it's very nuanced process, the process of buying. And sure, there's a lot of empirical information. There's x-rays, and there's biomechanical guys, and there's heart score guys. But in the final analysis, I think it's as much art as there is science. And that means that the online process, while better than nothing, may not be nearly as good as what we're used to.
We would have also had a 2-year-old sale as part of the April race meeting. We were expecting to sell almost 200 horses during that, either 2-year-olds or horses of racing age, and that's about another $10 or $15 million gross sales opportunity. That's money that's not in the pockets of those folks who are trying to sell those horses.
There's nobody buying horses right now, so that's all slowed down. Used to be, well, if you have a horse that ran well first time out and people wanted to buy it, but now there's no buyers right now. Everybody's just stepping back, and we're in a holding pattern with all the financial situation.
That's where you'll probably see the greatest change of how farms are doing things, how consigning is done. Labor, for example, has been very hard to find in the last 4 or 5 years. That picture may change significantly, and we may have people who very much want to hold on to their jobs. It's going to be, it might well be a different story here at the end of this year and certainly going into next year.
We're getting by okay. We haven't had to lay anyone off, but we're just tightening our belts somewhat, and we're making do.
Well, COVID-19 has affected everybody's business. I mean, it's affected the whole world's economy. Our market is basically, national and international. And with the travel bans, with the stay-at-homes, people are not traveling to Kentucky. But I think our prices will stay relatively stable. But I think you will see an increase in that gentleman's farm, those people that want to live in a country that wants to get out, that's always wanted to do that. The larger $2, $3+ $1 million farms, they're going to wait and come in and see it.
We have some very good news that Governor Beshear is allowing Churchill Downs to intake horses on the 11th of May, and Churchill Downs will start live racing on May 16th. Racing will look very, very different. There will be a staggered take-in on the stabling from places like Louisiana, Kentucky, Arkansas, Florida, and then elsewhere. The entire meet will operate without spectators.
Get up there, Fab!
It will operate without owners coming to see their horses run. So the only restricted personnel that will be on the backside, front side will be trainers, jockeys, grooms, racing officials, and that's it.
We're doing a lot of work in terms of the protocols necessary to give confidence to the governor and to local health officials that when you're ready for us to go back, you can be confident we're going to have a very safe environment.